Play La Bamba Baby as the Edmonton Oilers move to 2-1 in this series against the Dallas Stars. I am Graham Mosimann. Thank you so much for joining us here on Game Over Edmonton. We are especially not here in our normal broadcast location. We are live and set up here in Grand Villa Casino inside the absolutely stunning Atlas Steak and Fish. And oh boy, they have a massive tomahawk. I'm telling you, it is the size of your head. It is meant to feed an entire table. If you are looking for a celebratory meal to enjoy all this Edmonton Oilers goodness, might I recommend that, as we are in full celebration mode here at Atlas Steak and Fish. We will hopefully be joined by Avry in just a little while, but in the meantime, hello, hello, hello. My name is Graham Mosimann. Thank you for having us. The Connor McDavid experience never stops being incredible, and the Edmonton Oilers fan experience is just getting even more obscene and wonderful. So just kind of a little background if you haven't joined us here so far. The restaurant we are setting up at Atlas Steak and Fish, it's inside the Grand Villa Casino, which is in of itself inside Rogers Place. So in about 4.5 minutes, I'm just watching the entrances here. We are going to have hordes of Oilers fans just streaming into this stunning space, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Lots of celebratory meals are surely to be had, as Atlas Steak and Fish has just opened their doors after 4 o'clock. It's come here on Saturdays, by the way. They have an Unreal Prime Rib special that's also very much worth your time in checking out, as they are newly reopened. Let's talk about your Edmonton Oilers, though. 2-1 lead over the Dallas Stars. And at no point, with the exception of that zone in the second intermission that we talked about, were the Oilers ever really in concern at all. When it was 2-1, there was some spike. Dallas just pushing, a lot of pressures being held on, and this team was going absolutely full bore to try to tie it up. Connor McDavid goes Connor McDavid mode, puts the Oilers up 3-1 going into the second intermission. And they would absolutely never look back, as the final score in this one is an absolutely resounding victory for your Edmonton Oilers, as this, with the exception of that chunk at the beginning of the third period in the very first game, there has not been a single moment of this series where we've had to be worried as Oilers fans, or Oilers fans have to be concerned, because it has just been non-stop. 6-1 your final today. Very, very, very nice to see Zach Hyman find himself on the board. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scoring, although he would jump on and off the ice with some injury concerns. Real nervous about Connor Brown. Connor Brown's with a spark plug this entire playoff run, and losing him could be absolutely devastating. But we'll wait to see. Hopefully Avry will find out more for us, as he is currently making his way down to the Oilers dressing room to get some post-game comments. If you have any thoughts, feelings, emotions about this game, please throw it up in the chat, or shoot me a note on Instagram or X. Send a note there, and we'll answer all your questions, get your thoughts, your feedback, as the Oilers take a 6-1 victory in this Sunday afternoon matchup. Now, Sundays have always been a weird one for this hockey team. I think any longtime Oilers fans can say that matinee games tend to not be our forte. But when you put on a performance like where you're looking pretty good. Stuart Skinner going full Stuart Skinner mode. Experience, baby. He's either going to be lights out incredible or turn the lights off and go home terrible, as he finally, for the first time this playoffs, pitches a save percentage that is higher than a .83, but lower than a 0. Well, for this one, Dallas putting on 36 shots, so he'll be high up in the 90s, so that should help Stewart's average. But there was a little moment early on in this one that made me really think the Oilers were probably going to be A-okay. And that was when Stewart kind of like looks at his teammate and gives a little like silly goof. Hear that excitement? They are pumped here in Ice District, as they absolutely rightfully should be, as the Oilers go up 2-1 here in this series. Stuart Skinner, he's going to always have his doubters. I mean, he's almost kind of putting together a Chris Osgood type career as he continues to be a postseason performer and a regular season baffle boy. I don't know the best place to word that. Probably going to go with baffle boy. But aside from Stu, Zachary Hyman, absolutely unreal game. 2 goals and ends up with, and that's that courtesy of David Ambury. You know, plus not necessarily the most perfect stat that we always wanted it to be, but it's still pretty telling in what a dominant performance this was for the Edmonton Oilers. Stuart Skinner outplaying Jake Ottinger again is incredible. The Oilers showing their big stars can still play, and it's not all about the depth, with Connor ending up on the board, and Zach, and Nuge. This series really should be 3-0, not 3-1. Shouldn't it? If it's not for the colossal brain gooberisms of Game 1 going into the third period, at what point has this game and this performance and they can keep doing it. Although if Connor McDavid is out, not Connor McDavid, excuse me, if Connor Brown is injured, could this be the chance that we see our sweet boy Jeffrey Skinner return to the lineup? It is extremely possible. Very, 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 very possible. Would love to get your thoughts on this one here in the chat, here on Game Over Edmonton, as we are live from Atlas Steak and Fish in the heart of Ice District. We're just on the floor behind us, just getting swarmed with happy Oilers fans. If you are one of those happy humans, we'd love to know your thoughts on the game, and we can react to it as this show goes on here. It is Game Over Edmonton, a presentation of the Game Over Network, live from Atlas Steak and Fish here at Grand Village Casino. So someone was looking at ordering the Seafood Tower. Again, these things, it can feed a family. It's incredible. But it's some of the most delicious seafood that you've seen, that if we were to hold it on camera, would fill up the entire thing. It's unreal. Come check that out here. Maybe get set for a nice fancy bite to eat before the next Oilers game, which will be in just a couple days here at Rogers. Barring something incredible, you kind of feels like a gentleman's suit is loading, isn't it? It feels like it's about to happen. As we take a look here at Oilers Twitter, gentleman's sweep, not a chance. Dallas is too good to let this one go. That from someone whose handle I cannot read. Woof. Woof. Checking in with our pal Ash, one of the many wonderful hosts here on the Game Over Network. 36 saves, 2.1 goals saved above expected. Nobody does it like Skinner. That 2.18 goals saved above expected is pretty incredible. Because when you look at one of the knocks on Stuart Skinner here, it's never been the hard goals that he has trouble with. Frankly, those are the ones where he's probably at his absolute best. It's the really easy goals, the really simple ones, the ones that absolutely everyone should have. Those are the ones that he lets through. You could tell, though, when Mikko Rantanen ended up hitting the post, and he still does not have a goal in this series, just a handful of assists. The frustration coming from Mikko Rantanen, gotta say, is starting to get palpable. And if you are frustrating Mikko Rantanen, you are doing something right. As we check in here with a Trad Rex Buddy fan, 6-1. You are correct, my friend. That was the score. What did you think of the game, though? What were some takeaways you had as we move ahead here on Game Over Edmonton, live from the all-new reopened Atlas Steak and Fish here on the Game Over Network. The Game Over Network, if you're a small little group of buds, it is a grassroots media organization that is growing from the ground up. And while we do have wonderful opportunities to partner with great folks once in a while, like Atlas Steak and Fish and the Grand Villa Casino. We are still creator-owned, and you can find some of our incredible stuff over on Patreon if you want to support the work that we do. Once again, though, Game Over Edmonton, the last show going on the network, but there will be a ton of very good off-season content. What is going to be happening over on Game Over Vancouver, as they now have a brand new head coach and a Quinn Hughes to make happy. Game Over Toronto is going to be exciting this offseason as that team probably gets blown up. And who knows, maybe Game Over Calgary could be over the moon as they get a shiny new Mitch Marner to add to their roster of players. We will see what the offseason looks like. Keep an eye on the Game Over Network for all the coverage of your favorite Canadian teams as we move on through the offseason here. I am Graham Mosimann, live at Atlas Steak and Fish. You want to grab the tomahawk. If you've got a group of people coming in here, it looks incredible, it smells incredible, and will feed roughly your entire family. As we head over to check in on Oilers Twitter now, see how everyone is shaking out. The biggest thing that we can kind of note is that when you have your best player be your goaltender, it's very hard to lose those particular games. And Stuart Skinner, I swear, that man is playing himself into as we have our wonderful Fouts here over at Atlas Steak and Fish drop off some water for us. Thank you to the service manager, Adam, for doing that. As we keep rolling on here on Game Over Edmonton. It is, I don't know if you can hear it on the mic, but it is loud out on the floor, and it is an absolute ton of fun. Stuart Skinner deserves a lot of love today. Absolutely. Oilers Adam, I can't imagine walking to Roger Place right now after a win like that with 7 hours of daylight left. Wherever you folks are in the world right now, let's enjoy this win. What a time. Our pal Chris Sheets over from the Talking Sheets podcast, lighting up his traditional Oilers sign as we officially know who the real stars are in this one. And it was really only a matter of time, too. Once the Oilers stars started scoring and started performing, while the depth was working at the level that it was, there's not a lot of teams that can match it. At least that's how it feels. You know, going back to the first game where Connor and Leon give each other that little, yeah, kind of look. It's all been just downhill for the Oily boys since then. Just waiting on our pal Avry to go check out get some interviews from down in the Oilers locker room as we prepare. This one coming in from our pal Connor, not one of those Connors, a different one entirely. Why didn't the Leafs keep Zach Hyman again? And that's a really astute question. I mean, of course, he didn't really know he had no idea how the cap was going to be going at that point in time if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Zach Hyman at that point had shown some of the flashes of the player he is now, having an almost 20-goal season and having some moments where he looked like he was going to be better than the kind of sometimes first liner, sometimes third liner he had kind of been. And the number that he was looking for, I memory serves for the Toronto Maple Leafs, is $5.9, maybe $5.8 million. If someone in the chat knows the exact number, let me know. But it was not a huge amount of money. And it was not a brain-breaking amount to spend on a player like Zach Hyman. And you look at the team now, as the Maple Leafs are constructed, don't you think they kind of wish that they had a Zach Hyman there? Tried to find it with Tyler Perduzzi, couldn't do it. They might try to find it with a Sam Bennett, couldn't do it. They might give Brad Marchand $7 million this offseason to be that person. And they could have had the guy that loved being a Toronto Maple Leaf, that wanted to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, that probably could have been a Toronto Maple Leaf for his entire career, with the exception of that time he was drafted by the Florida Panthers. But alas, no. For the Maple Leaf fans, but joy for the Oily boys, as Zach Hyman proving again why he is the absolute wonderful love bug that we all know and love. Let me know in the chat how you are feeling at Game Over Edmonton. I'm Graham Mosimann. We are not in our normal home studio. We are proudly and excitedly set up here at Atlas Steak and Fish inside Grand Villa Casino. Come take a look at the tomahawk. I was looking at the lobster bag of meat. I'm a big hussy for lobster, so very, very, very much worth coming to check out if you have something you want to celebrate or just want to treat yourself to a really nice meal, because life is hard and you deserve someone wonderful to cook for you. And that's exactly what will happen here at the all-new reopened Atlas Steak and Fish, heart of district. You can find us inside of the Grand Villa Casino. It is bumping out there as people are waving towels, people are high-fiving. The vibes are maybe not as runaway good as they were after that one win against the Panthers last Stanley Cup final. It feels pretty close, though. Does it feel really close? Like, I'm going to fight off a yawn here as I've been working far too much, apparently, for this little one. I really concerned, though, if we're going to see Connor Brown back. He has been such a great player for the Oilers since he was able to work, because him taking a big hit for Alex Petrovic in the second period, we did not see him back on the ice after that. What does this Oilers team look like if Connor Brown is not able to go on Tuesday? That's a really important question we got to think about. Does that mean a Jeff Skinner comes in? Does that mean a Victor Arvidsson comes in? He wasn't playing tonight. Do you perhaps go someone else if you're Chris Knobloch and it clearly does not trust Jeff Skinner in any way, shape, or form? Do you find someone else? Perhaps. Who knows? Let me know what you think about this particular game as the Oilers take a 2-1 series lead. Let's face it, it should be a 3-0 series lead, if not for a little bit of goober behavior that kept the Oilers from keeping us into streak or a sweep territory. Dallas, this is crazy, this postseason, they have been outscored 9-0 in the first period. The Dallas Stars are not a good first period team. If you are the Edmonton Oilers, if you can keep pouring it on in the first period and coming out of that one with large leads, it's going to be okay. And let's face it, this playoff, the Oilers, for the most part, have done their best work when playing from behind. And we're not seeing that here with this Dallas series as Edmonton just continues to pour it on and find ways to break through that Stars defense. And, Cody Ceci haters will chime up here, and you know what? I'll admit I was a Cody Ceci hater, but when you have a defense that makes some mistakes and lets in some rough plays, and you have a moment where Cody Ceci is defending Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman on the exact same play, not a good sign. Not a good thing for Cody Ceci. And, that's not good. Look, an amalgamation of Victor Hedman and Scott Stevens and Chris Pronger in some, Last of Us Part 2 to be one super mega player, they might be able to stop a 3-on-1 with Nuge, Hyman, and Connor McDavid. Hugo Ceci's dad, though, is not going to be the one to do that. If you are watching, hello, thank you so much. It will be mean so much to both us here at Game Over Edmonton and the whole of the Game Over Network if you drop a little like or a subscribe here on this one. Little things like that go a very, very long way to helping get our content in front of more people so we don't have the same 4 megalo companies putting all the time in and giving you a mediocre product. Doesn't keep the fans in mind. So a like means a lot. A subscribe means even more. If you want to throw something in the chat, absolutely love that one. Florida Panthers fan from Australia. Hi guys, nice to meet you folks. Florida Panthers. So are you in Australia or are you from the UK? I have so many questions. Hi, guys, from Newcastle, England in the UK. Hello, Florida Panthers fan. Look, how are you feeling on the chance that we are going to run into each other once again in the final? because I'm slightly terrified. That series last year took years off my life. So your Florida Panthers fan is living with his wife in Newcastle, England. Good to hear. I am very curious. How big is the hockey fandom in Newcastle in the UK? I would be fascinated. My one of my other kind of day jobs. I'm Graham Mosimann, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us here on Game Over Edmonton live from Atlas Steak and Fish. One of my other day jobs, I do some work with one of our local baseball teams in the Edmonton the Energy City Cactus Rats. My brain is melted. I forget who I even work for. And we have a fellow who's a scout for a team in the British Hockey League, which is very fun. So, tiny bit of a connection there. Florida Panthers fan, how are you feeling if you have to go up to a 9.71 save percentage put up by Stuart Skinner? That is his second highest save total in a playoff game. That is incredible for our sweet boy, Stuart, the answer Skinner. Man, that guy's going to play himself into like a $6 million contract that everyone's going to hate. Oh, Florida Panthers said you had a heart attack today and your wife called the ambulance service and the fire brigade came around. Oh, well, I hope you're doing okay. If you're on the chat, I'm excited to have you here with your recent heart troubles. Good to see you, Florida Panthers fan. Oh, I feel like things are about to get kind of weird and spicy. Any more thoughts in the chat on this particular game? Let us know. You can throw a like or a subscribe down, and it helps the Game Over Network do some of the many things that we love and try to do here for this particular little hockey post-game show. As your Edmonton Oilers win 6-1 over the Dallas Stars, a 2-1 series lead. As we break this whole thing down here from the beautiful confines of Atlas Steak and Fish. Here in the Grand Villa Casino, the floor is absolutely packed. The restaurant is about to be very, very, very full as these fans are in full joyous celebration mode, as they absolutely should be, as the Oilers take a 2-1 win. Stay in bed and rest, a Florida Panthers fan, and try not to have nightmares over the mustache of Stuart Skinner jumping out to come find you, as the Oilers and Florida Panthers seem destined to meet once again. Stuart Skinner is such an enigma. I mean, he was a second-round pick a whole bunch of years ago, and he always kind of felt like, hope maybe he'll pan out, maybe he'll be okay. And you know, the phrase "goalies are voodoo" remains so true. As this year he was awful, and looks like he lost the puck. He kind of had the yips, and Calvin Pickard had to take over for this team in a number of places. We even get to the playoffs, and it looked like Calvin Pickard's net, and that the only way Stuart Skinner was going to get back into this one was by having an injury. So here we are, Stuart Skinner now a hero again in Edmonton. You know, a guy who played his hockey in the Southside Athletic Club. I do PA and announcing. I'm Graham Mosimann again, once again, by the way. Nice to see you all here for Game Over Edmonton. I met his sister when I was doing music and doing PA for a team at the Confederation Arena, which is one of the many rinks the Southside Athletic Club plays out of. So it's continually hilarious how small Edmonton is. And I asked, like, how does it, feel in the family when, like, Stu's having a bad game? And she said it's hard, but we love him. So we do our best. And really that's the kind of best part you can really take when you have a guy who is so ingrained in Edmonton. His family is still here. He lives here in the off season. And then to have these kind of moments where he does get the accolades he deserves for these big, incredible experiences. Checking in on the chat once again, Florida Panthers fan. So your handle is that because your wife's family are all Panthers fans. You have some NHL here as well, and so from the Utah Mammoths. I mean, the Utah Mammoth stuff is pretty cool. I get it. That's a fun logo, and I mean, new teams always sell well. I'm assuming your wife must be from Florida or lived in Florida for a long enough time to kind of absorb the Panthers fandom into her heart. I mean, it's, talking about the Panthers, it's so interesting to see how they have been absolutely able to dismantle the Carolina Hurricanes in their series. I mean, they're going up. They're already up 3-0. Maybe that game gets to 5. That series gets to 5 games, but I'd have a really hard time seeing it given how good Florida has been so far. I mean, they're a team that's perfectly built for the playoffs, and it's so wild to think that whoever comes out of this series, be it Dallas or Edmonton, the Western Conference team is going to have home ice advantage. Any Game 7s will be on the Western Conference side because Florida didn't have the most amazing year, but you get them in the playoffs, and they turn into Gumby and Hercules combined. Gumbercules. Yeah, Florida Panthers fan in Australia just posted up, we are going to sweep Hurricanes. Yeah, you absolutely are. Hurricanes, man, I always thought that Washington was kind of a glass tiger. I mean, so much that team's year was caught up in the OV chase and all that stuff that when they finally got the playoffs, what actually was going to kind of peter through. And apparently nothing, as Carolina just looks like they are playing in an absolutely different league than the Florida Panthers right now. Oilers 6-1 victors here. Game 3. Edmonton 2-1 up in this series. Now, remember those power play horror shows from the third period of Game 1 of this series? None to be had, as the Oilers have absolutely shut out the Stars power play since them going 3 for 4 in the very first game. Wow, this team has definitely lost something when they weren't able to kind of have those same power play capabilities that they did. I think ODCC unfortunately was a big part of those power play successes or the penalty kill successes for the Oilers last year, and now it's falling on Jake Wallman, it's falling on Brett Kulak, even John Klingberg, who had a goal here tonight, to kind of keep these the power play for the Dallas Stars off the score sheet. Checking in with the chat once again, Florida Panthers fan. Your Boston Red Celtics and Red Sox are losing again. Yeah, the Celtics should beat the Knicks, so you should always beat the Knicks, but that's a tough one. And your Red Sox are losing every day now. Yeah, as a Blue Jays fan, I got to tell you, I'm not that upset about the Red Sox losing a lot. But the Blue Jays also hot garbage, as we still get to deal with Ross Atkins. Oh, Ross Atkins. Anyway, that is a fully different sport. That is baseball. We are here talking about hockey on Game Over Edmonton, live from Atlas Steak and Fish here in the Grand Villa Casino in the Heart of Ice District. If you are watching from outside of Edmonton, welcome so much. Maybe a place to go eat for you is Atlas Steak and Fish when you are in town. And if you are out celebrating something wonderful when you are here in Edmonton or downtown, Atlas Steak and Fish is the place to do it. The floor is packed. The revelry is in full force. We're just going to do a quick jersey scan because I can't show you because we want to showcase all these gorgeous wines from Atlas Steak and Fish here that you can order if you want to get some stuff with your meal. There is a truly incredible array of jerseys right now. The vast majority, of course, Connor McDavid, unsurprising. We have a Zach Cassian tarp. We have an Andre Shakira tarp. We have I'm pretty sure I just saw a Yanni Nima jersey. Might have been a Sheldon Stewart jersey, not 100%. But one of those old Cohos walked by, too. Real nice run for jerseys. From Rainmaker 2 here in the chat, Oilers breezed over Dallas today. Yeah, we absolutely did. Dallas, it looks like they tried to put all their effort and hopes into that second period push to bring that game to be a tie. Stuart Skinner standing tall, Jake Wallman playing some incredible defense. They are unable to tie this game up, and the Oilers just put on the gas at the end of this one and just put it all away. From Panthers fan, I heard Travis Kelce was the Dallas Stars game. I think he was. Because Travis Kelce, I mean, he went to Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure he lives in Kansas City, but he also travels around a fair bit, and I know he is a hockey fan. His brother has also said that he's a big hockey fan and a big Connor McDavid fan, so I would not be surprised to see Jason Kelce at a game. I mean, if the Oilers ended up somehow playing the Flyers again, absolutely for sure we'd end up seeing Jason Kelce and maybe Travis Kelce in an arena. But you know what? I'll be honest. For the Panthers fan, I don't do a ton of when I'm watching the game. I'm too stressed to really kind of pay attention to who they're taking shots of in the stand. With the exception of last year's Stanley Cup Final, when Shania was in the house, we noticed. Oh boy, did we ever notice? I'm Graham Mosimann here on Game Over Edmonton. If you have any thoughts, feelings, emotions on this particular game, would love to hear your thoughts. Post them in the chat right now. Get to your opinions, your ideas, your hopes, your dreams. How do you think the next game is going to turn out when the Oilers and Stars battle again on it's like next game will be Tuesday? I don't know. Double check to be sure. Game 4 Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Your Oilers have a chance to make this a 3-1 series and then potentially close it entirely out coming up on Thursday. I get pickups here on a Game Over Edmonton. That was gross. I am Graham Mosimann. Thank you so much for joining us here. Let's take a look here. Rainmaker 2. Onger was handcuffed by Edmonton. Onger is such a funny goaltender. I mean, I remember the series played against against Calgary a couple years ago. When if it was Onger, instead that series goes to a 7-gamer with overtime. Might have been a 6. Either way, Calgary would have destroyed Dallas one for game under. And then you have him play last year. He doesn't look amazing. He has periods against the Jets where he doesn't look great either. Calgary's so fascinating as a goalie. Because you have Connor Hellebuck of the big American goalies. He has just so much size and takes up so much of the net just by purely existing. Stuart Skinner, very, very, very similar. Jake Onger is a big guy, but he's not right. He's not a huge dude. And the way he kind of squares up to the puck at times, he almost makes himself a little bit smaller than he kind of needs to. Whereas, like, the skill of Connor Hellebuck is being able to be a huge person and then take up even more space as is. You know, perhaps that's why in the playoffs he's not as effective, is because he relies on his size so much. The Jake Onger has every ability to turn it on and become an absolute game changer for this series. Given how he tends to play against Edmonton, I'd have a hard time seeing it, especially when he's not even able to play comfortable in any way, shape, or form. Every time Onger gets set up, who's right there? Kasperi Kapanen, weirdly enough, right in his face. You'll have John Klingberg, who's pinching. Never mind guys like Zach Hyman, who are always in front of goaltenders and make. You'll have Evander Kane, who just bulldozes his way through and will make life living hell for goaltenders. And I think the Oilers have kind of gotten on his head a little bit when you have a 6-1 game, 3-game. I think it was 5-3. Either way, the Oilers putting up tons of goals. We'll see how it goes. I mean, incredible night. 2 goals and assists for Zach Hyman. A couple of goals from Connor McDavid. Another goal from John Klingberg as well. He had one of his best games I've known for him. Florida Panthers once again, Connor McDavid. Oh, are we a little low? Rainmaker, appreciate you. I'll be honest, this is a brand new microphone, and I'm still getting the exact part set out. So thank you for that heads up, my friend. Appreciate you. As we continue on here for this edition of Game Over Edmonton, live from Atlas Steak and Pizza in the heart of Ice District. After games, by the way, over in Match, it's like the bar also here in Grand Villa Casino, they have a DJ that goes up and throws on a ridiculous set. That dude is so good. He puts on a really, 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 really fun show. So if you're post game and still looking to get some like a little extra hype in you, going to check out the DJ that comes in place here at Match Public House after the game. also very much worth your time. If you want a very fancy, luxury, take your family up kind of meal, that's where you got to come check out Atlas Steak and Fish here in the fabulous Grand Villa Casino. Thank you so much, Rainmaker 2. Appreciate your heads up on that one. You can go check out their Tower of Seafood, which takes up our entire screen. You can go check out their huge tomahawk, which feeds, I swear, a whole family, or either lobster spaghettini, which is calling my heart right now. Oh, boy. In the chat, would love to hear what your thoughts are so far as a Florida Panthers fan. A little bit worried as Nico Mikkola might not be playing tomorrow. I mean, look, Florida's going against Carolina, whether they have Nico Mikkola in the line or not. It's that series is such a bummer. I wanted it to be really competitive, but hey, it looks like we're going to have, however this goes, if Dallas does end up pulling this one out and they absolutely can, a one-goal deficit or one-game deficit, a very easy one to make up, I would be very sure of Dallas going to come back and put this game to spice territory. Now we got our feeds dropping a little bit. Oh, we got worked out. There it goes. Yeah, just had our feet get a little bit jumpy on us there. Here on Game Over Edmonton, we are live around Atlas Steak and Fish, like I mentioned. 34 shots on both the Dallas Stars and a couple of real nice moments. I mean, you got to think that Nico Rantanen is got to be getting a little frustrated. Got to be frustrated. You notice coming up earlier this week, there was a trade and an extension. Nico Rantanen was ready and willing to sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mitch Marner, though, says no on that one, and Nico is in Dallas and looking skyward. The fact that he was such a ridiculous scoring presence for the Dallas Stars for their first two series of this playoffs, and now has completely disappeared, is honestly shocking. The Oilers have a great job of making sure Nico Rantanen is playing uncomfortable, not able to settle in, and really pushing him around a little bit, which is hard to do when you are 6'5", whatever Nico Rantanen is. The dude is massive. He is a big, big boy. The Connor McDavid on his goal right before the end of the second period, where he made Nico Rantanen look like a double-A player shooting defense. And Nico Rantanen's an incredible scorer, but he is a phenomenal defensive player as well. Got that long-range science, he knocks out a lot of pucks, and is able to help clear the zone really quickly. And he has not been able to do that because the Oilers have been using their speed and hard puck movement to really keep the puck away from Nico as much as possible. I thought Rupe Hint was really rough tonight as well. I mean, he didn't have a lot of moments that are worth it. He was brutal in his shot. I really wonder if that slash from Darnell Nurse is really harming him a little bit because he looked like he was in a bad zone a couple times in this particular game. So we'll wait to see how that shakes up. I'm sure we'll get news over on Connor, but nothing quite yet. We will hopefully get an update out to you as soon as we can. In the meantime, this is going to put here for us for part one here on Game Over Edmonton. Like Atlas Steak and Fish, it's the Grand Villa Casino. Mosimann, thank you so much for joining us. Check out and make a reservation with Atlas Steak and Fish. Get yourself a stunning luxury meal. As we're so grateful to have them hosting us here for Game Over Edmonton, a presentation of the Game Over Network. We're going to have another stream in a little bit, hopefully when Avry gets back, as he's just collecting some player audio. So we will hopefully check in with him in a little bit here as